Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hunt Law Firm's latest installment in our series of live Q&A on a wide range of issues in Texas family law and the issues affecting you. My name is Alex Hunt, and I'm the founder and managing attorney at Hunt Law Firm. We serve clients in Katy, Cypress, Harris, Fort Bend, Waller counties, and the entire greater Houston area. Our practice is dedicated to family law, divorce, child custody issues. Today I'll be joined by attorney Lucy Petry of the Petry Law Firm, and we'll answer some timely questions on family law and everyone's favorite topic, taxes. Particularly some new questions and misinformation that may have arisen as a result of the COVID-19 public health crisis and some legislation that's passed through Congress that affects you. Now, we've already received some questions beforehand, but we'll also be happy to take your questions live if you have them. So just leave them in the comments section below. And if you know anyone who could benefit from the information that we're providing, you can share this video and hopefully they can jump on the call and they can join us. Now, we're going to be presenting some useful information that folks are dealing with in these challenging times, as well as taking your questions. And of course, today's video does not create an attorney-client relationship with myself or with Lucy, and it shouldn't be taken as legal advice. Because everyone's circumstances are unique, your attorney would need to know the particular facts of your situation to be able to provide legal advice. Instead, these videos are really meant to be educational and informational, and perhaps as a starting point for some big decisions that you may see on the horizon, or perhaps you just want to learn a little bit more about Texas family law. You can take a look at some of our previous videos on a variety of different family law related topics on the videos tab on our Facebook at facebook.com/huntlawtexas and at our website at familylawyerkaty.com. And then you click on the Our Videos link at the top of the page. Keep in mind, too, that we're 100% staffed and operational. I know that Lucy is as well, and we're continuing to serve our clients throughout the stay-at-home order. And we're offering telephone and video conference consultations to serve you. And you can find us at 832-781-0320 or our website at familylawyerkaty.com. So today I'm happy to be joined by Lucy Petry. Lucy is the founding attorney and owner of the Petry Law Firm, and Lucy is definitely the right person for this talk. She has a law degree, an MBA, and she's a CPA. She has a wealth of experience in tax law, and she practices right here in the greater Houston area. So good afternoon, Lucy.
Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's jump right in. What's the biggest mistake that you see couples make when it comes to taxes and divorce?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have all your tax returns filed. You do not want to go into a divorce without knowing what liabilities, especially the tax liabilities, are looming out there. This way, if you have all the tax returns filed and you know what you're dealing with, you can address those issues in the divorce, and you can properly allocate and divide those liabilities just as you would divide the assets. Now, it's very important that the parties understand that the federal law will supersede the state law and the divorce decree. So even if it says in the agreement that one party will be responsible for the taxes, the IRS is not required, and they will not look to that agreement, and they will instead look to federal taxes and pursue both parties for that money, for those unpaid taxes. So that's very important to know going into the divorce.
Absolutely. And we get that all the time where folks want to put into their divorce decrees, they want to tell the federal government the way their taxes are going to work. And unfortunately, the federal government won't listen to what the state court says when they issue their divorce decree.
That is true, yeah.
So the next question that we received beforehand, my spouse and I are separated and lived apart the last 2 months of this year. Can I file my taxes as single?
You cannot, because you are, even though you're separated, you are still married. So living apart will not make you single. As a matter of fact, I come across that issue all the time, and it will go something like this. A taxpayer I haven't seen my husband in 10 years. I don't know where he is. He may be in Mexico. I cannot even find him. And we have to explain that the passage of time will not make you single. You have to go and get a divorce to become single. You don't become single just because time has passed. Similarly, if you're living apart, you're not single. You're still married. So you only have two options. You can either file as married filing jointly, which is a better situation, or you can file as married filing separate, which is the worst filing status that you can have because you won't be eligible for certain credits or deductions. But yeah, you have to file as married.
All right. So a child custody question that we get a lot, and we received it before this video. Child lives with mom half the time, lives with dad half the time. Can our client claim that child on their taxes?
Okay, so the IRS will look to, there are three tests that you have to meet in order to claim a child. There's a relationship test that the child it's your child or a descendant of them. So it could be your grandchild. It could also be an adopted child. It could be your brother. It could be, so long as it's younger than you. And yeah, so your child, a grandchild, your brother or sister. And then the child has to meet the age test. So they have to be under 18 or under 24 and a full-time student. If they are disabled, there's no age test. And then there's the residency test. The child has to have lived with you for more than half of the year. So it is really, really difficult to come across a situation in which the child lived with either parent the exact number of days in the year. It would have to be like a leap year or something that has an even number of days in the year. So most of the time, the number of days will determine who claims the child. Notice that these three tests, the age, the residency, and the relationship test, there's no support test. You do not have to support the child in order to be able to claim the child. Okay. So the IRS will look to those tests, so age, residency, and relationship. If there is an agreement between the parents and there's a specific form that the parent entitled to claim the child will fill out and give to the other parent, then the parent who doesn't meet the residency and will be the residency test will be able to claim that child. But that form can be revoked at any time. So it's just a long way to say, in reality, the child who lives with the parent for the greater number of days, that's the parent who will be entitled to claim the child.
And I know that, we can't put into our divorce decrees what the federal government's going to do with taxes, but what we can put into our decrees is that one parent is going to sign that form so that way it can be sent to the IRS. That we can enforce. So we can't tell the feds what to do, but the parties can agree about what they're going to do within their own divorce decree if they have an agreement.
That is so true, and it's very important to have foresight and be able to see that coming and agree on the divorce decree.
All right, so we often get divorces where one spouse doesn't know what the other spouse is doing in terms of the finances. And so sometimes we'll get the question from one spouse, I don't know if my spouse ever filed tax returns. How do they find that out?
Yeah, so that happens more often than people realize, because one spouse will be in charge of the finances and the other is not involved. So that happens. You can go to irs.gov and create an account, and you will be able to see the most recent years, what tax returns were filed and how much was reported to your account. I think it's up to 5 years that you can see. If you need to know beyond the 5 years, you can call the IRS and they will be able to give you that information. Okay. But yeah, it's a very difficult situation to be in.
All right, so let's move to some COVID-19 coronavirus stimulus. What is Congress doing for us questions? So The first question is, if I receive the stimulus check for my child, do I have to share it with my ex?
So there was no clear guidance on that, but the money is for the child. It is intended for the child's support and well-being. So I think it would only be fair that you would share, or if you are the parent who has the child for most of the time, then so long as it goes to the support of the child, and it's $500. So I have a friend, and that happened, and the parents agreed to share the money, which is nice. Now, here is something that's important, because the parent claiming that child will have to account for that money when they file the tax return. So that's going to be a credit and an offset in their individual income tax return when they file it. So there'll be some accounting to do later.
Okay. The next question that we received is, my ex claimed my child even though he lived with me all year, and can I expect to get a stimulus check for my child?
Yeah, so you should go to irs.gov and put in your information for the stimulus. Unfortunately, the last parent who claimed the child, that's where the money is going to go, because that's all the IRS knows. They don't know that that person wasn't supposed to claim that child, and they won't know that you take turns claiming that child. But like I said earlier, it will be a credit on your tax return when you do claim that child. So even if you did not receive that money, you will receive a credit when you file your taxes next year. And the person who received that money, even though they should not have received that money, they will have to account for that because it's money that did not belong to them. That makes sense?
It does. So even if you didn't get the stimulus check, you can expect some benefit down the road when you file your taxes?
That is correct. And also, I just want to go back to the person who claimed the child and wasn't supposed to claim the child. The parent who was entitled to the credits and benefits associated with the claiming the child, they should still file a tax return correctly. They will have to mail it in, and the IRS will set out to investigate and apply the test to determine who is the person entitled to claim that child.
Okay. Next question we have is, if I owe money to the IRS, will they still send me a stimulus check?
Yes. So the law specifically says that that the government cannot offset unpaid taxes for the stimulus. So yes, if you owe money to the IRS, you should still expect to receive a stimulus check.
What about back child support?
Oh, that's one time when you are not going to receive the stimulus. If you have unpaid child support, the IRS is going to hold on to that money and send that payment to the parent who has to receive the child support.
So if there's an arrearage and it's registered with the federal government through the state, and a parent is on the receiving end of that, they should expect to get a little bit more money than maybe they were expecting.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have some viewers that have said that they haven't filed taxes in a number of years, whether they're out of work or maybe they just haven't filed taxes. How can they get a stimulus check? Or can they get a stimulus check?
They can. They will need to file at least either 2018 or 2019. And that will cause them to make it so they will receive the stimulus. If you do not have a filing requirement because, say you did not have any work, or you are below the $12,000 for 100 filing requirement, you can still go to irs.gov and put in your information to receive the stimulus. So non-filers can still receive the stimulus by putting in their information and their bank account to have the money sent to them. And I posted recently about this, that a homeless the homeless population is entitled to this stimulus check. They just need to let the government know that they are out there.
Okay. Well, that's very valuable information for folks that thought maybe, they were going to be left out. So what about folks that maybe are out of work, they're furloughed, and they don't have enough money coming in to pay their bills, but say they have a 401k or they have an IRA? Can you take money out of your 401k, your IRA, your retirement plan to pay for your bills?
Yeah, I do not recommend it, but I understand that sometimes there's no other option. If you have been affected by COVID and you will have to show that you were affected, the government, the CARES Act, will let you pay back those taxes, because whenever you take money out of the 401k, you always have to pay the taxes. There are some instances when you will not have to pay an early withdrawal penalty of 10%, and this is one of those, which you can take the money out and avoid the early withdrawal penalty of 10%, and now the CARES Act will let you pay those taxes. You always have to pay the taxes. It will let you pay the taxes over 2 years if you can show that you were affected by COVID. Also, if you were self-employed, and you have health insurance, to pay for the health insurance, or if you have significant health care expenses, you can also avoid the early withdrawal penalty. You cannot use the 2-year payment, but you can avoid the early withdrawal penalty of 10%.
Okay. And then the final question that we received beforehand is, if you're receiving an unemployment check, will that be garnished for child support?
That's a good question. I think so. I think it is being garnished in the percentage or rate that is stipulated. I believe that is the case, that it will be garnished. And I just want to say something else about unemployment.
Sure.
You have to tell the government to withhold taxes, because unemployment is taxable income. And I know it's hard, right? You're unemployed, and now
Sure.
you're taking taxes out on top of it, and maybe child support too. But it's better to pay now as you are receiving it than to have a liability later when you file your taxes.
All right. And Lucy, how can folks find you if they have future tax questions?
Yeah, so find me at the Petry Law Firm, that is Petry Law Firm, or 713-859-8000.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Lucy.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. And if you thought of somebody who could use this information that Lucy's provided for us, please share it with them now. We'll be back doing another live Q&A next Thursday, and we'll be discussing the really alarming rate of increase in domestic violence cases in the Houston area since the stay-at-home order began, what you can do if you find yourself or you know someone in that position, how the courts are handling protective order cases, and who you can reach out to for help. And remember, if you need legal representation on a family law matter, you can find us at FamilyLawyerKatie.com. My name is Alex Hunt, and for Lucy Petry and for the entire team here at Hunt Law Firm, thanks for joining us, and have a great day.